But there was 1 month where I made $50,000 from streams alone in 1 month.
Today I'm interviewing El Dre, aka the Lo-Fi Guy. With 1 million monthly listeners on Spotify, one of the most popular songs in the history of TikTok, over 1 million combined followers on all social media platforms, this was an amazing conversation and I'm sure you guys are gonna get a lot of value from this one. Let's get into it. What's up, dude?
What's up? How are you, bro?
I wanted to start this little chat by reading one of your tweets that I'm going to put on screen right now. I just saw a 6-second ad on TikTok that I was paid over $10,000 to do the music for. Many producers think the only way to make a living is selling beats or begging for placements. I'm here to tell you this isn't true. I wanted to get into it because I feel like you're the best person to talk about this and all the different ways there are to make a living with music without reaching out to artists.
Yeah, I mean, I still haven't really worked with any artists. I don't have any placements or anything like that, but I've had a very successful career, I'd say. Definitely living off the music and whatnot, making money and whatnot and all that. But yeah, I mean, with that one specifically, I was working with this agency that I still work with from time to time. That's why when it comes to sync stuff, I try not to go into too much specifics because there's no really, I didn't do it the right way like most people can. There's a bunch of people out there that can teach you how to look up the libraries, blah, blah, blah. But for me, just like how my career went and I built my brand and became like a personality or whatever, agencies just reached out to me. So I can't really give a step by step. I just became El Dre. And then agencies started reaching out with that one specifically. Yeah, bro. I mean, it was like an M&M's commercial and literally like my song is in there for like 5 seconds, bro. It's like a little 15-second ad. My song is just like at the end. I got paid a lot of money.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I feel like that's kind of the point. Like that's kind of the point of like your entire career is that you're able to do things because you're El Dre. It's not so much because you just make good beats or whatever, but it's because you're El Dre. And I think that is always going to bring you the most results, just because it's attached to your face. Like, nobody else can be El Dre.
Yeah.
You're the only El Dre in the world.
Yeah.
I think that's super cool.
Yep. And I just like to give that disclaimer when I'm like trying to show people how to do things, because at the end of the day, I owe it all to branding. So,
well, I think that then it's kind of interesting to start getting into how did you get to this point? Like, how were you able to sort of even build a personal brand this big to the point where companies like that are reaching out to you? And maybe if there were any moments where it kind of just leveled up all at once, where the things happened and it's just like, whoa, now I'm on a whole different tier.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for me, it's kind of like I only ever wanted to do music. I wanted to be a rapper at first, but I didn't really like that life. I did a couple shows and I just didn't like it. Like I used to get really bad, like I think it's called cottonmouth, where I'd be like up on stage trying to rap and then my mouth would just be getting drier and drier. So yeah, a couple experiences with that, didn't like it, switched to producing. And then I was just kind of grinding. We were grinding at the same time. It was all about Instagram, just posting beat videos. I remember we did that. You were my first collab.
Same here, dude.
And you were the outside guy.
Wait, hold on. Can I pull it up real quick?
Yeah, pull it, please. Please pull that up.
You guys don't know this, but El Dre was my first, and apparently I was his first collab on Instagram. Crazy.
That's not bad, actually. That's not bad.
Right? You remember the beat still?
Yeah.
we were doing our thing. That's crazy that we were both each other's first collabs. Like that's pretty insane.
That's like some full circle stuff. What is it? 2023? How many years? I don't know math, but it's been like what, 5 years or something?
Something like that.
That's crazy, dude.
That is pretty insane. That is pretty insane. So,
but yeah, we were grinding on Instagram. That's what it was about. Just posting like every day, every other day. Just beat videos. But I don't know if you were the same, but I feel like a lot of us that were doing that were also trying to sell beats on BeatStars.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think for everybody, like all of our circle of producers that went on that path, we all realized that doing that really only brought more producers. So then it became like making YouTube videos, making beats and stuff like that. So I was just doing all that for a long time. Trying to sell beats. I didn't really like the BeatStars grind either, the type beat stuff. I work with a few artists. That's how I first started making money with music, is like doing custom beats for like $200, like exclusive, no contract, just like, but I was making a good little chunk of change, but I just hated it, dude. Like going back and forth with these, sorry if any of you are watching, you're probably not, the random ass people, not much skill, if I'm being honest. Like I never really heard anything that was good come out of any of that work I did out of those 2 years. There was maybe like 1, 2 or 3 tracks that were good. And yeah, so eventually I got put on to like the Selection crew, like all the stuff that was going on SoundCloud, Monty Booker, Dillip, and like Decap, and all these people were just dropping beats. And I was like, what the hell? People are just listening to beats?
This is a thing?
And then, yeah, that's when I got Spotify and all that kind of stuff. So once I realized people could just release instrumentals, I just started doing that. I started uploading beats. I started making remixes and then releasing the instrumentals to those remixes.
Wait, I'm gonna stop
One
you
thing
right
led
there,
to
'cause
another.
I know the remixes
yeah.
are where stuff really happened, like in terms of like your career. Like I know you were working before that, but I know that the remixes are where it really like took you to a whole different level. Do you remember if there was like one that like you remember specifically that kind of just blew up and you were like, oh, this is it?
Yeah, for sure. So the crazy thing is, I would say like, so over that whole time when we're making beats, like the best thing we could probably get is just repost it on those producer pages on Instagram. I'm not sure if you ever got posted on like, I don't know, Producer Life,
Beatmakers
or some
World,
other beat
stuff like that.
Instagram. Yeah. Those were like the best things that could come from that. And that's really it. People weren't really swiping up on your Instagram links to go listen to your music. So I tried to just make things that people already were connected to. So it started with just sampling stuff. So I would sample popular songs, but then I started making remixes, and there was like 3 things that happened that just, my career was just, slowly. And then it was like this one, and then I just took off. So the very first one, I did a remix to Frank Ocean's Chanel.
I remember that
Chanel
one.
by Frank Ocean.
Yeah.
So I remixed that months before TikTok was a thing. And just because I wanted to hear Frank Ocean on my beats, I was doing like a YouTube series where I was just like making beats to acapellas just to like get better at like arranging and all that kind of stuff. So that was like an old video I made on YouTube. And then when TikTok came around and I saw Lucian blew up out of nowhere, because I remember Lucian used to be like a fan. Like he used to be like in the comments on everything, like showing love. And then I saw his YouTube channel all of a sudden had 100,000 subs. I hit him up. I'm like, bro, what the fuck is going on, bro? I'm like, what just happened? He literally got like 100,000 subs on YouTube in like a couple days. And then he told me about TikTok. So I just started taking all the old remixes I was making, representing them in a different fashion on TikTok. And then that Frank Ocean one just kind of took off. And that was like the first small bump, even though it became a huge trend. Like all the big people, Addison Rae, Charlie D'Amelio, all these big TikTokers. It was that big?
I don't remember that. Okay. Damn.
Yeah, no, this was the one. This was the first one that took me, just like, because like a dance trend happened. Some girl had made like a dance to it. So it just took off crazy, but it was a remix. So the video on YouTube, it got like 10 million views, but it's like, it's copyrighted. The money's going straight to the label. So there was nothing I could really do to monetize it except for release the instrumental. So that was when I first started seeing my Spotify numbers go up, because once that went viral, I was like, let me do a bunch. So I made a whole EP of similar songs that were like dancey. And then I did like a Drake flip and all these other flips, released the instrumentals. And that was like the first bump. And then that was like October 2019. And then November 2019, I did a flip of Married Life, the theme song from Up. I went to Disneyland. I sampled sounds at Disneyland. And then I made this lo-fi beat with the Up soundtrack. And I posted it on TikTok because I'm like, oh, this is going to go crazy. It did okay. It got like 200,000 views on TikTok. But then for some reason, I decided to post it on Twitter. Like my Twitter was nothing. I didn't care about Twitter at all. Posted it on Twitter. 2 days later, 3 million views.
Crazy.
It was like,
that's the thing about like stuff like that, is that you just don't know. You were just that's so cool that like you were just making them and you were like, I feel like this is gonna work, but then it blew up on a completely different thing, and it's just that's
completely
crazy.
different platform that I never used, bro.
Right.
So like Rap Genius retweeted it, and a bunch of Complex posted it on Instagram. So that was like the second bump in my career, to where like this whole time I'm still working my 9 to 5, waking up, going to work, coming home, making my music. I'm just grinding away. And then I started to see a little bit of money. But then when I did that married life thing and that took off and Complex and all these big companies posted it, then Honda had hit me up to do like a brand deal where like I was like sampling sounds in their Hondas for Christmas. So I made these little lo-fi Christmas jingles, sampling sounds in some Hondas. I went to a dealership that was down the street from my house, and I did that. And then right after that, Samsung hit me up to fly me out to Vegas to do CES. And they paid me like $9,000 for that, which I now found out that's actually kind of low. I could have asked for way more money, but I was by myself or whatever. But yeah, I went out to Vegas to do that. And then that was when I was like, all right, that was like January 2020. And I had to keep missing work. So at the same time,
You're still working. That's
also
crazy.
flew me out. Yeah, I was still working. So like from October to the end of 2019, all those things were just happening. And then Cymatics flew me out to do a podcast in Atlanta. So I kept having to miss work. So top of the year, after the CES trip, I just told my boss, I was like, look, shit's heating up for me, bro. I might have to dip. So yeah, that was kind of like the two big things that really took me off. And then I had those brand deals. And then ever since then, it's just been like trying to reinvent myself and just keep on doing things. And then the Steven Universe thing happened.
Dude, let's talk about that all happened real quick, because Steven Universe,
yeah,
it has 15 million plays on YouTube, 48 million on Spotify. I think it has like 10 million videos on TikTok or something like that. I mean, that is, I remember this one moment. It was Christmas 2020, something like that. And you had more streams on that song than Mariah Carey had on All I Want for Christmas Is You. And I was just like, this is crazy. How is this even possible?
Oh, I think I do remember that. Like it's on like the TikTok charts or something like that,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, exactly.
I
was like, it's Christmas and he's beating Mariah Carey. I was like, this is crazy. This is insane. I don't know what year that was, but it was the year where it really blew up.
Yeah, so.
How?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Yeah, so pretty much like, so the Frank Ocean thing happened, and I kept doing like dance remixes. So I had a couple more that went viral, and a few more dance challenges happened, and then that started to die down. So then that's when I did the married life thing, and I started doing like the cartoon stuff, because it's just stuff I love. So all the songs I remixes, songs I love. All the shows I did stuff, shows I love. So I did the married life one, that took off. I think I did like Gravity Falls, and then that took off. And then I was just kind of replying to comments. So somebody suggested I do Steven Universe. But the catch was, I always had to watch the show. I didn't know what Steven Universe was. So I went and watched the show, really liked it. And then I made the song. And then I put it out. It did good on TikTok. If I remember correctly, like it did get like 1 million views within like the first couple of days or something like that. But the song on Spotify, like it was streaming well comparatively to my other stuff, but it wasn't crazy. Like I think it plateaued at like 100,000 streams or something. Several months later, like I dropped it March 2020, and I'm thinking like October 2020 is when I just started hearing it all the time. Like I'm with my girl and she's just casually on TikTok and I'm hearing my song like repetitively. I'm like, what's going on? So that, and then I also the streams too. So I started noticing all that. I started noticing my monthly listeners going up and all these things. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? I wasn't really able to track down what happened. Like I got a gist, right? So there was this one girl, her name is Miriam. She is a really big cooker or chef on TikTok, and she was using it a lot. And yeah, so there was a lot of cooking pages, a lot of art pages, but like, I don't know if that was enough to really make it what it is, but like, and like on TikTok, if something is trending, people will just start using the sound and muting it just to like go more viral. So maybe there was like some trending sounds page that was like, yo, if you use this sound, you're going to go viral. So maybe a lot of people were going viral with the sound. So then more people just started using it so they can go viral. And then it just went on from there. Kylie Jenner used it. Will Smith used it.
I did
all
not know
types
that.
of people, bro.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man.
That's crazy. I think
insane, dude.
That's also like
insane.
It has something to do with the genre that is just like so adaptable to so many different things. Like you can make a cooking video with it, but you can also do a dance. You can show some clothes that you have on. You can talk about something. Like you can literally, it could be underneath this podcast stream, whatever, right now, and it would be fine. It would work. It's just like you can put it under anything, and it just fits perfectly. And not just the Steven Universe, just like a lot of that kind of stuff. But it's crazy how big that one blew up. And the craziest part to me is that it was a TikTok suggestion. Like that's really cool. That like out of some comment, it's like basically maybe what's so far the biggest moment like of your career in terms of like numbers at least, and it was out of like from a TikTok comment from some stranger. I think that's super cool.
That's true. Yeah, I didn't even put it together. I gotta go check who commented that. Give them $2.
I'm gonna hit
bro.
you up right now.
Yeah, dude.
Oh damn.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, man. No, I was just saying, like, yeah. So that happened, and then like gratefully enough, like all that stuff kind of happened from, I think I was saying like October 2019, and then I was able to quit my job February 2020, like right before the pandemic took over the US, which is like, you know, blessing. Whatever gods you guys believe in, they were watching out for your boy, I'm telling you. So like literally I quit my job right before all that happened. And then I think I've talked to a lot of producers, a lot of musicians, and the pandemic really skyrocketed a lot of stuff, especially lo-fi. Everybody's depressed. Everybody's at home. People are working from home. So I think that genre in a whole, like the pandemic took it to the next level. Everybody's streaming. Everybody's on YouTube. So all that stuff combined kind of just made for the perfect environment for whatever happened for me, really.
Yeah, I know. Like the pandemic, I think for anybody that makes any sort of content, including music, even if it's not just content, but anything that has to do with that, the pandemic just like 10x'd it. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy how big that got out of a bad situation. But I know that the people really want to know about this because on the Discord there were a lot of people asking. People obviously want to talk about money, and I don't want to make you uncomfortable at all, but I would love to get at least a little bit of an insight into that side of things, at least maybe for like, you don't have to share any amounts or anything, but if you're comfortable sharing, where does your income come from? Like for the last, like, I don't know, year, what sources are the biggest one at this point, and in what sort of percentage do they contribute to the whole thing?
Yeah, bro, I love talking about money.
The
only times I don't want to go into specifics about money is just in case like my family's watching.
Of course, I get you.
So all the people on the internet, like I definitely like to be super transparent so people know like what's possible. But yeah, so obviously like the streaming was like the biggest thing. Like there was times, I mean, I guess I could say one amount just like as a measly flex, I guess. But there was 1 month where I made $50,000 from streams alone in 1 month.
That's insane.
And that was like
just Spotify or everything combined? That was everything combined, right?
Just probably everything combined.
Because
also like TikTok does also pay for like the views you get from your music. I don't know if it's with everything, but at least through DistroKid, like you also get paid for like your songs that are getting played or whatever.
Right.
So that played a part. I had like several billion views.
Dude, that doesn't
from
even
that
make sense.
Steven Universe
That's crazy.
song. Like, cause you know, all the people making videos, they're also going viral. They're getting millions and millions of views. I don't know if you're familiar with KB Lame,
yes.
but
he's Italian.
I think he's the #1 followed dude on TikTok.
Yeah.
And he used it and he got like 200 million views or something. So all that stuff added up too. But yeah, streaming has always been like my #1 source, but I never wanted to rely on it at all. Like I come from humble beginnings, I should say. I don't like saying that I was broke or poor or anything, because I know there's always people that are worse off. But I was complaining about getting a chicken sandwich from McDonald's back when it was $1, basically, is what I was saying. So I've always just been, once I started making money, I was always like kind of insecure about it, just because it's like, with music, you never know. Like nothing's consistent. It could change in the blink of an eye. So that's how I always felt. And that's why I kept making. So when the Frank Ocean stuff started dying down, that's why I switched to the Married Life thing. When that died down, that's why I just kept switching it up to do new things. Because every time something popped off, like the Frank Ocean specifically, I was like, whoa, this is crazy. This is my first time something happening. I'm like, damn, I'm going to be a one-hit wonder. Like, that's what I'm thinking in the top of my head. So I'm like, let me do whatever I can to not be a one-hit wonder. So, yeah. So it's kind of like,
does that feeling,
I started making decent money.
Or do you still have it like where you're like, oh, now I'm a 5, 10 hit wonder, however many, but it's like, or now you're like, okay, now I'm chill. I got this.
I would say, I don't want to say it's even worse now, but it's like, obviously, like, the streams aren't as up. You know what I'm saying? Like, all the stuff that was really like carrying me, like all the big viral songs, they're not doing as much. So obviously the money's slowing down, the numbers slowing down, and you get burnt out at a certain point. So I took a break from TikTok, came back to barely any views. So there's a lot of different things that go into it. And it also, and since I'm such a money guy, like I care so much about money and financial freedom, it's kind of like, I've always tried to diversify as much as I can. So like even right now, the streams are going lower, but it's like, I also do brand deals that bring in a lot of money. I got my own producer store where I sell sample packs and all that kind of stuff, all the lo-fi stuff. What else do I make money from? Yeah, sync every now and then. That's super random though, by the way. And I think I said that in one of the threads on the tweet. Like, yeah, I made like $10,000 for that thing or whatever. I think it was 15 actually. I didn't want to say the real number, but I'll say it here. But yeah, I made like 15,000 from that. But like that was over the span of a bunch of months, and I've submitted over like 10 to 20 tracks to these people, and out of those 20 tracks, maybe 5 of them got clear, like accepted. And I got paid for like maybe 4 or 5 of them. So that's very inconsistent for me, but that is something. Just like, I just try to do whatever I can, but it all falls on my brand. So like YouTube pays me, whatever, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, streaming first, then brand deals, then sample pack store, and then everything else just kind of falls in the wind.
Into place. That's really interesting.
Yep.
That you connect, because it's the same for me, where like everything at the end of the day is connected to my name. And I always wondered, it's like one of my biggest like insecurities, and I think you feel the same from the way I was hearing you talk right now. The insecurity of like, well, if for whatever reason Ed Talenti or LJ, it doesn't resonate as much with people at some point, then everything that's connected to that kind of just like disappears all at once. And so I think it's a really scary feeling for anyone that does like content or music, or anybody that relies a lot on their name and face, because it's like, you know, it's a scary feeling. It's a scary feeling that I think we all feel. So it's nice to hear you talk about that.
There's been countless nights of me diving hella deep into real estate or like e-commerce, drop shipping, just because like, all right, I have money from the music. Let me put it somewhere else that has nothing to do with music so that I can. But every time I try to do that, I just think of the time I spend on that. And I'm like, that time I'm spending on this, I could be spending on trying to make better videos or trying to make more sample packs or trying to do things that I actually know how to do. So at the end of the day, it's kind of just like, music is a longevity kind of thing. Like I don't feel like my career is just going to be nothing, but I can do it as long as I want. But like I've gotten burnt out so many times, bro. Like I get burnt out every week. But recently, this past month, I will admit, like, I have been getting better at, like, scheduling myself and all that kind of stuff. But historically, bro, throughout this whole time, even when I was working my job, I am at scheduling my life. So like literally I'm waking up at 7 a.m. to go to work. I get home, maybe take a 30-minute nap. That 30-minute nap might turn into an hour or 2. So I'm waking up at like 9 p.m., making a YouTube video, editing it, going to sleep at like 4 a.m., waking up to go back to work. So when I finally moved here in my own home, no job, it was very difficult to try to figure out some kind of schedule. Like, cause you got to be your own boss. Like you really have to treat this like a job. And I am terrible at that. So what I would be doing is I'd be going so hard for like a week or 2. And then I'm fucking burnt out. I stopped posting. I stopped doing everything for like 2-3 weeks. And then next, you know, I get back and the algorithm's like, what the hell, bro? Like, where'd you go? So now it's like, I got to start over to build that momentum back. So it's just been ups and downs, this whole road.
There you are.
And that's something people don't really think about, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I think we heard most of it. And I feel exactly the same. So it's like, it's so refreshing to like hear you talk about the same thing, because it's hard to be consistent when it's all on you. And I know, I mean, I don't want to sound like all, like we have it good. It's fine. It's a really fun, great job. But it is hard. Like, even for me, when I quit my job, I was a drum teacher. I don't know if you knew that, but I was a drum teacher before in a school here. And when I quit, it got like so much harder for me to like be on it and be on myself. Because when you only have like 3 hours, you're like, I have 3 hours. This is what I'm going to do. And you just get a video out one way or another or whatever you're doing. But when you have the whole day and it's like, I don't have to do this. I mean, it's not even that I don't want to. It's just the brain just starts working differently, and it does get harder and harder for sure. So yeah.
Especially when I got laziness in my blood, bro. Like, I love nothing more than watching anime, playing games, chilling with my girl. Those are my favorite things to do. So when I moved out, because also, mind you, I was living in a garage, and the garage, not only did I have a job and all this and that, but it was dictated by the elements, bro. So if it was summer, I couldn't do shit in there, bro, until nighttime. And if it was winter, I'm freezing my balls off the whole time. So it's like, I couldn't even really do things at certain times of the day based on the temperature outside. So when I got here, I got AC. I got my own studio room and my living room with a nice couch, big, beautiful TV. It's like, bro, what I'm supposed to do today, bro? Like when I got this couch, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it definitely is tough. But again, don't want to complain. You know what I'm saying? Beautiful life. Couldn't ask for anything better.
It's worth talking about it, I think, because I feel like a lot of people kind of like idolize. I mean, when you hear the money, it's like, wow, that's a lot of money, and absolutely, it's a ridiculous amount of money. But money is not everything, and it's just like you can still have a lot of money and be totally stressed out and unhappy about different things maybe than you were before, but the feeling is still kind of similar. And of course,
I was definitely one of those people.
No, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, you broke up a little.
Oh, you good. I was just saying, there's definitely like a threshold where you're like, now like when you're above like just the basic, like, you know, food or something, like when you're above that, then money is like, it never ends. It's like never enough. There was this quote that I thought was really interesting. I don't remember who it was, but it said, it was a kid looking at a guy with a yacht, and it was like, when are we going to have a yacht or whatever, to his dad. And his dad looked at him and was like, you know what, that guy's never going to have enough. And I thought it was really interesting, because it's like, it really does feel, when you talk to people that are making good money, they still want more. It just, there's no point where you're like, okay, I'm good now, I can chill and just do my work. And it never gets there. And so, yeah. Yeah,
if we want to get into the specifics, it is a term known to us. I don't know about other countries, but in out here, lifestyle inflation is the term, and it's a real thing. So obviously I was broke living in my garage, but now I'm living in Los Angeles, California, and my rent is already a couple $1,000s. All right. My rent is already a couple $1,000s. Then I got a Tesla. So, and then I got this, and then I got this. And then now, like, I don't really think about groceries. So I'm just spending money on groceries. So like, more money you make, more money you spend. And then it's like, all right, now I got to maintain this. Like, that's what becomes the focus. You want to grow as well, but you also got to maintain what you got going on. And music is just kind of inconsistent. Like, you don't really know. I mean, at least, and I'm going to say this for streaming, at least, like with DistroKid and all that, like, I don't do the math. Like, I'm not going to sit here and count the amount of streams I got like three months ago or whatever, because there's a delay. So I don't know when my next payment's gonna be.
Right.
Like, I really don't know. And it's so like, sometimes it'll be this amount, sometimes it'll be this, sometimes it'll be this. And it's just like, you never really know. So you really gotta diversify yourself as much as possible.
It's just the nature of it,
to be comfortable at least.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, well, speaking of diversifying and speaking of branding, you did start a music label. I don't remember when that was. It was a while ago, called Vibe Village.
Yes, sir.
So you do have experience starting a new brand. I mean, it's not new because it's connected to your name, but it is kind of a new brand. And I think it'd be interesting to share your perspective on that, and like, why did you do that? What's your thought process behind it? And kind of just like, where do you want to take that? What is that? What does it mean for you? Yeah,
so I started Vibe Village with my boy Chris Poncelan. Shout out to Chris.
Shout out Chris Poncelan.
You guys might know Chris. He used to be a producer, you know what I'm saying? Now he's a big time influencer.
Gigantic.
Millions of followers. Yeah, this and that. But yeah, we started it because both of us, we had like a lot of overlap in our communities, like when we were coming up on doing all the Twitch stuff and all that kind of stuff. So it was really like wanting to help out our community first, and two, just creating something that's like a community that's cool. Because I've released with a bunch of lo-fi labels. I've had good experiences and bad experiences. But I just figured like I've gotten so much experience. Chris has gotten so much experience that why not we just try to start our own thing? It definitely isn't easy as I thought it would be. I mean, we have landed a few playlists here and there, but I do feel like the sentiments around these kind of independent lo-fi labels, at least for me, like when I was releasing with lo-fi labels, if they didn't at least get me into a playlist, I would feel like, why did I just give them like the certain percentage or something like that? But now that I'm actually running the label, it's definitely, there's a lot more value that can be had with this kind of stuff. And there's a few labels I worked with that were really good at providing that value without just maybe you getting a playlist or not. So what we were trying to do is just create like a really cool kind of chill vibe community with really cool art. We've been working with Cody on all the art. We're providing cool art, cool vibes, and doing everything we've learned and helping people create content for their music, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I have a vision of it growing much, much bigger. Like maybe we start doing events, we start doing this and that. All these ideas that I had for myself, but I just feel like it would be better off like under another entity. Like I've always wanted to put on, let's say like a lo-fi show where it's like at a cafe or like a record store or something where there's coffee, or maybe an art gallery or something, like curated chill events, but it's just like what Eldre presents. So like, I don't know. So Vibe Village is just like a new name to do cool stuff under and help other musicians in the process.
I think it's a dope idea, especially when you connect it to, I mean, two people like you and Chris, which are like, you guys know what you're doing in this space. And I think it's just like, it's just a great idea. Building a community of like-minded people, it's always, I think, really cool and fun, honestly. Especially if your income doesn't really depend on it right now. It's like, you're going to do it with with a different mindset, you know? Like, I feel like you're going to do it just at the beginning, like a really passion project. And so I think that's always so cool. And I don't know if it was connected to that, but I saw you do a live show, because you just talked about live shows, and you did a live show recently. And I thought that was the craziest thing ever, because you don't get to see a lot of producers just on a stage doing that. What was that? How did that happen? That was crazy.
Dude, that was insane. So basically, I released an album with Dolce Gramophone, which if nobody knows, it's apparently, and I didn't know, but apparently it's the biggest classical music label of all time. They're under Universal. So it was like my first major label project. And essentially they have this huge catalog of all the classical music ever made, pretty much. And they provided me with a bunch of stuff to sample. So I was making beats, doing this and that. And then they also provided me with an entire orchestra in Berlin. So they're like replaying all the stuff I did, all types of strings.
Also, they learned your parts.
Everything, dude. Like, yeah, dude, I'm telling you, like, it was like the craziest experience. Like, there was certain ones, like, obviously some of them are already well-known songs, but I'm like chopping the samples and I'm putting it on some Jay Dilla swing, you know what I'm saying? Like some vibey drums. And they really like transcribed everything I did. I was actually, Simon Servita helped me out with a lot of the songs, like making melodies. So he'll make a melody on piano and then I'll have them transcribe it to strings, or I'll fully, completely flip and chop a song and they would transcribe it exactly how I flipped it and replay it on strings. Like when they would send me back the strings, like without my beat, bro, I would just be sitting there like, this is actually insane. So yeah, like after that was released, I did my first live show. I had like a whole quintet and everything like that. And this is literally my first show as a producer. And I got like a quintet of string players behind me, like learning my little beats or whatever.
That is the coolest.
So
that
it was
the coolest shit ever. That is crazy.
Yeah, it was quite the experience, dude. Like it was very interesting.
That's so awesome, dude. How did you get in touch? I think I know the answer, but just to be sure, how did you get in touch with a label that big? Especially with something that's like classical music, which is like, it's not exactly like, top of the charts type stuff. So that's so cool. How did that happen?
Again, dude, it's all branding, bro. So apparently the A&R from the label, his son is just a fan of me, dude. He used my music in his TikToks and stuff. So his son showed him and he loved it. And then they came up with the idea for this. And then I have a manager, by the way. So they reached out to my manager, and then one thing led to another, and boom.
That's so sick. Because see, in my head, that's why I said I think I know, but I didn't. Because in my head, I thought it was a lot more corporate. And I thought one of your videos went viral and somebody saw it and it was like, oh, this is like, this is some old guy that doesn't even understand TikTok. But it's so cool that it was actually somebody that uses the platform that's actually a fan of you specifically that talked to his to a person, to his dad that you said or whatever. That is so cool. That is way cooler approach to it. That's awesome.
Shout out to his son, man. Yeah. It was a dope experience. I mean, it was my first experience working with a major label, and I will say, like, it was rocky at times because I've never worked with like a major label, so the way they do things is just so different, and like quite a few things happened that were like, come on, dude. Like that's why I was texting you, bro, because the first song you were playing was one of the songs from the album that I told you to avoid, because I ran into issues where literally they're like, okay, here's the plan. We're going to release it on Friday at 10 a.m. And then on Thursday, you're going to post on Instagram to say that it's going to drop. But then come Thursday, it's blocked in every country on my channel. So like, that's why I was texting you. I'm like, Mayday, bro. Like, please don't play that
first song I played. To give you guys a little bit of context, I asked him if I could play his music if it was copyright free, and he said, yeah, it's all copyright free except for this one album, which is this one. And one of the first songs I played was right out of that. So great.
Yeah. So, hoping for the best, but Universal Music, they don't play, bro. They don't play around. So there was a lot of weird issues like that happened, but overall, though, it was a really good experience. Like, everybody at the label was super nice. And yeah, it was fun, dude.
That's awesome. Plus, I don't think a lot of people that have sort of the career path that you do, or even not like content creators, like music, all internet people, you kind of get to blend in with the old world, like Universal, which is like the sort of bigger like labels and like just a different world. So they don't know how to work with you just as much as you don't know how to work with them, because it's your first time, but also they don't really know. So it's just crazy how there are two parallel worlds going at the same time. And I don't even know at this point which one is bigger. Like at this point, I feel like they're kind of like competing at the same level. But it's just it's crazy that they don't know each other. Like they don't really interact with each other all that much. Sometimes.
That's something I definitely noticed. Labels, there was a lot of label conversations over my like rise. So like major labels were definitely getting into like lo-fi. They were definitely seeing its value and what was going on. I think Universal is one of the main ones that actually does stuff with it. Like they have like they have their own app that's like a lo-fi app and all these other things. So they're definitely interested in it. But corporations, they see the streams, they see the money, and they want in on it. So, but at least with the classical thing, like I got the vibe. Everybody I talked to, they were just so happy and excited, and they made it seem like the rest of the stuff they do is so boring compared to this. So everybody at the label was very happy. It was very refreshing for them. So yeah, it was dope, man.
That is awesome. That is awesome too. It's funny that you just said they were bored of the stuff that they do. I mean, I don't know what they're used to doing, but if it's like, maybe this just felt like really, really fresh and different. That's super cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You said something in one of your videos that I kind of wanted to get into for a second. I was kind of rewatching the last few of your YouTube videos, and I don't think you're going to be able to see it unless you're watching the stream separately, but I'm going to just play it for them, and then it's just one sentence.
I don't remember the last time I made a beat for fun. That's just not a thing anymore. Like,
you don't remember the last time you made a beat for fun. That's just not a thing anymore.
That's what the line was. Yeah.
Let's talk about video, that, man. Yeah, that's good video. It kind of got really good views too. So that's a good video. Good video. Good intro. Good intro.
Yeah, dude. Dude, I don't know. I feel like all the YouTubers feel the same, but we maybe don't show this stuff to our fans. But like, it's just such an up and down thing. Like, the inspiration, I don't know if maybe I'm just a little weird, but like the inspiration for whatever is just so up and down for me. So when it comes to like making beats, dude, it's kind of, recently I'm changing, but like since my career took off, I've been heavily on the business side of all of it. And I've just been like, maybe in a negative way, just focusing on money, I guess, and just trying to do anything that could lead to success, money, numbers. And I think that's a lot of what I was focusing on, to where it became like I was only making music for a specific purpose. So it's for this YouTube video or this specific song that I 100% will release. Like, you would look at my folders, or like maybe a label or a sync agency would hit me up for like unreleased music. And I'm like, I really don't have any, bro. Cause if it's unreleased, it's just trash because I'm dropping everything. So yeah, dude, it's either I'm sitting down for a video, sitting down to remix, or doing something for somebody that is paying me and like relying on me to finish this thing. That's kind of like where my priorities always have been, just the dollars, I guess, or just not even just the dollars, but anything that is up to someone else. Like, whether it be like I'm collabing with somebody or whatever, someone else is relying on me to do this thing. That was my priority. So when it came down to it, and if I have free time, what I'm supposed to do, sit down and make a beat, dude? I've been making beats all week for this and that, or this person and this whatever. So yeah, dude, it's kind of that's kind of where it got. And that's why I made that video, because I just feel like nobody talks about this stuff, because they feel like if you're viewed as someone who's like complaining about your success, then that makes you like ungrateful or like whatever, because, oh, I'm over here mopping floors and you're chilling making beats. What do you got to complain about? But I was just like, screw it, bro. Like, this is how I feel. And I'm sure people can relate, because I did like a similar video where I was like super honest and transparent, where I felt like I fell off. So the video was just called I Fell Off, warning for musicians or something like that. And that video did really well too. Just me being honest. Like, a lot of people were commenting, even like producers that are like well known were like hitting me up, like telling me like they resonate with the message and all that kind of stuff. So
I mean, I definitely resonate with that. I think that it's part of a bigger conversation between like art and entertainment. And I think that they're not the same thing. Even in this day and age, there's this magical world content that kind of brings everything together and puts it on the same level. But the thing is that when you do art for content or for entertainment purpose, then all of a sudden, you know, art is supposed to be just kind of pure. And I know it's kind of a stupid argument a little bit, but at the same time, it's like when it becomes a job, when it becomes entertainment, like the point is like, I need to entertain people. I want to entertain people. It's fun. It's not that one is worse than the other. They're just different. And I think that there's, if you're an artist, if you have like the mentality, the creativity of the instinct of like an artist, you start like kind of missing that and losing that a little bit the more it becomes a job and you're trying to entertain, you're trying to create all this content and you're focused on so many different things that I feel like you start feeling like kind of a gap in the art department. And so I feel like there's people that have different approaches. There's people that just stop and they just start making music and disappear. There's people that, you know, there's people that stream and just do it on the stream to kind of do whatever with no pressure. But it's like, I think it's a conversation not enough people are having. So it's really cool that you are doing that, of like talking about art and entertainment as different things, and how when you start approaching it a certain way, then it becomes a little bit less fun. Or at least you're not doing it. You're doing it just with a different mindset. I thought that was a really interesting way to start a video, and a really good point. That you're right. Not a lot of people make it. Not enough people make that point. But it's definitely true.
The whole point of that video too, though, because a lot of people are watching us and they want to do what we're doing, but like they really only see us. They only see Ed Salenti fucking smiling his ass off after he just laid down the hardest 808 pattern I've ever heard in my life. And they're like, dude, he's just doing this every day. Like, his life is amazing. It must be so, like, that's all they really see. So, like, for people who are serious, the video was really for people seriously considering this as a full-time career, because I think I said in the video, sometimes I feel like maybe it would have been better to just kind of go get like a degree in software engineering and just have some job in tech that's like high paying, and just make music when I feel like it. Cause that way it is fun and it's whatever. Like, so really it was a warning for people that should you make it a career or keep it as a hobby? And that's really what I wanted people to take away from that, is just to like look at their lives and what they want and decide if this really actually what they want. Cause it's a grind.
It is. I think to address what you just said, because that's a thought that I had many times where it's like, well, what if I didn't do this as a job and I just did it for fun? But I feel like it's like, what is it called? Catch-22. I feel like when you do it as a job, you want to do it for fun. But then when you do it for fun, you're like, well, now I'm tired. I just came home from like 9 hours at work. And maybe as you get older, like myself, I'm over 30 now and I'm about to have a kid. So it's like life gets more complicated in terms of like things happening. And so if this was a hobby right now, I would have no time to do it. So, at least by having it as a job, I do get enough time to make music. And I think that what you said about like people are used to seeing us edited. And I think that that's the really cool thing about, you know, it's the good part about editing, but it's also the bad part because it gives you a false idea of what that person is actually like going through, you know, because you just see a super mega edited version of them. It's still them, but it's it's a trailer of their personality, you know. It's like the best bits. And I think that not enough people think about that. I think that's something that people that want to do this type of job should really think about. But also, like we said at the beginning, there's a million different ways to make a living with music, and a lot of them you don't have to have your face on camera. Like you don't have to do all this stuff. Maybe it's a little bit harder. Maybe it's a little bit different. How do you feel about that? Like if we just erased your name from the internet and from the memory of everyone, and you just had to start fresh. All you have is just like, let's say you even have your nice studio, like you have what you have, and you had to start. What would you do? Where would you start from?
I think because the sad truth is like I always think about money first because I'm always worried about my well-being and what I'm doing. So I would just have to figure, I don't know, dude, that's a great question. If everything was just stripped away and I had to start from scratch.
You still have the money that you have. So you have your gear, you have your stuff. Like you don't have to worry about that.
Oh, okay. But yeah, no, honestly, like I would just do the exact same thing I did. I would just start branding, dude. Like for me, that's just the best way to do it. Just for me though, like, cause there's a lot of people that just don't want to be on camera or they just don't want to make content. So like there's definitely the route of, I'd say the difference about me is that I don't really view myself as a musician so much because I've never really, and that's something I'm working on right now, by the way, to like circumvent my lack of wanting to make beats for fun. Like I've been like studying music again, not making music, but just listening to music. Like I've been studying Jay Dilla for like the past week or two, reading this book and just like diving into his catalog and just getting my interest in music as a whole just back. But like, yeah, I've never really felt like I'm not good at any instruments. You know, I'm good at coming up with drum grooves. I'm good at chopping samples. But for me, that's about it. So I would content was just the way for me because I don't have to like be so technically advanced. I can still make remixes. I can still make this and that. I can make any type of beat. But as long as I have some kind of content around it, like that's my way to grow. Because there are some people who are musicians and they can just do some crazy stuff. And people would just kind of like, there's a lot more interest in that. It's more visually appealing. It's just cooler when people are actually like doing the damn thing. So content was just the way for me, bro. I like teaching. I like talking. So I would just be doing the same thing. I start making YouTube videos again, though. And this is something that people got to think about. We still have all this experience too. So obviously you don't just hop on YouTube and start teaching how to make beats if you barely know how to make beats yourself. So assuming that you've already got the years of experience to where you're good at making the music, I would just start making content around it, teaching people, building up my audience. And that's really all I can do. But again, if I was trained or if I wanted to study piano, maybe I would think about doing sound design for like TV and film or something like that, or all the other avenues that are possible. I would consider that if I had those skills or if I had the interest to really learn how to do these kind of things.
I think you said something really important about the experience, that it's like you don't just do something. Like even if somebody wants to get into content, it's like it's going to take you a long time to get a good video out, and it just takes forever to put together something that's actually good, where you have the music, you have the video, you have the personality, it's like a lot of different elements that it's like you just kind of have to, what you said is perfect. You just kind of have to start and just do it and then keep doing it until it gets sort of good, and then that's it. And I think that already allows you to like weed out like 99% of everybody else. So if you had to start from scratch, if you just started doing it, it'd probably work out. I feel like it would work out. Maybe definitely in a different way, but it will work out again. Because why wouldn't?
Yeah, because I think like at the end of the day, and I'm actually working on a video about this, but like there was 2 books that really changed my life and made me realize that anytime I felt like giving up, the whole 2 years where I was like making Instagram videos like every day and like not really anything was happening, like I was making the most incremental progress over those 2 years. But like my mindset that I learned pretty much from these books I was reading was just like, keep going. Literally, just keep going. It's a simple concept, but it's very difficult to grasp. I feel like everybody has a switch at some point in their life where they transform from just kind of living to where they realize, oh, for me, it was like, I'm going home, I'm watching TV, I'm doing this, I'm making all these excuses. And then something happened in my life where like something switched and I realized that I was making excuses and that if I wanted anything to work in my life, it was completely up to me. So in that moment, I realized, yeah, let me just keep going. So no matter what, if you keep going, 1, you're going to get better. And 2, by the time you get better, you're going to be more confident. And all these things about you are going to grow yourself. And then at some point, the people will recognize. And at some point, something grand will come from it. So that's really it. So yeah, if I had to start over with that mindset of just keep going, dude. That's really all it is. And that is kind of why I'm still going to this day, because I mean, I stop a lot and then like I get kind of sad. I'm like, oh, this video did shit. This video was a 10 of 10 or whatever. And I'm like, why am I even doing this? I question myself every week. Like it's not like that stuff goes away, but like I know that I've done it. So I'll just keep trying. It's just a little more spread out these days. It's not as, but yeah.
I mean, but I feel like it's just about the feeling. Like nobody starts making music because, I don't know, because they want to get a 1 out of 10 on YouTube. This is not the reason at the beginning. And I feel like you start because you love it. You start because you look at somebody else that's already doing it and you're like, I want to be as cool as him. Or you just kind of love it and you just want to do it. And I feel like it gets harder and harder if you get even a little bit of like, let's call it success, whatever. But it gets harder and harder to sort of bring yourself back to like, wait. I'm just doing this because I love it. Like, that's why I started. And that's like, you got to kind of bring yourself back to like, I started music when I was like 14. And every now and then I try to remind myself, like, I got to go back to being 14. I was looking at these like drummers on big stages and I was like, that looks so cool. I want to be like that one day. Like, that's why I was playing drums and making music. It wasn't because of some other, monetary or number reason or anything like that. And so I feel like sometimes it's really important to like forget about all that and be like, wait. Let me go back to the beginning. Why was I making videos? Like, why was I making music? It's because it's just fun. And then that allows you to then grow better because you're doing it kind of with in my opinion, for the kind of right reason, like with the right mindset. At least it helps me. Maybe it's not for everyone, but
the interesting thing about it is, bro, and I feel like when we had those like producer Illuminati calls and stuff, like I probably said this, but like when I talk to you or Simon or Kyle Beats and you guys are like, oh, this idea, oh, fucking what's the word, retention and this and that, I'm just like, damn, bro, I really don't care enough. And I realized that I don't really like making content, honestly. And then I had a moment in my life where I'm like, do I even like making beats? Because I wasn't making them so long. But what I always come back to is like when I, like, for example, that video I just put out, where I'm like, oh, I haven't made a beat for fun. Like all the comments of people like thanking me and saying, thank you for your transparency. Oh, this helps a lot. Or like when maybe I don't feel like making a beat, but then when I do sit down to make it and then I make something fire and I'm like, okay, yeah. So at the end of the day, for me at least, even if I don't feel like doing something, like, cause I can't say I hate making content, but when I see the content like doing well and helping people and like people, or even like vanity wise, like if I have a video like on Instagram or TikTok that goes viral and like people are streaming my music and they're really liking it, that feels good. And it's not really, technically that's kind of a negative because, dopamine, whatever, but
just human,
like it's the truth. Like when I see good numbers, it makes me happy. But
all the green arrows
all that
pointing
kind of
up,
stuff is
and you're
really
just like,
yeah, dude. Like, come on, when you get the confetti,
I
when
know,
you got a
1 out of 10,
like
get the
that shit,
confetti.
that hits, dude. So, and I definitely spent a lot of work trying to focus less on numbers. So, but yeah, once I see like all the comments of people, like I'll see people commenting on a video from a year ago, like, dude, this helped me out. I'm like, damn, dude, they're still watching that video. So like, if I didn't do any of that, who knows like how many people are being helped by this stuff? Or like, when I get message about people, I've gotten some depressing messages, bro. But like inspiring, depressing about like Steven Universe, like this one dude, like his daughter died and that was her favorite show. So he just listens to that and cries and he thinks of her and stuff like that. So like when I get messages like that, and that's really what always pulls me back and makes me not worry about anything, because at the end of the day, there's just people out there that like me for some reason. So that's really what brings me back. Even if I don't feel like doing this or that, that's what really does it for me, honestly.
100%. But that's beautiful to look at it like that. As long as you're helping someone, as long as it's, somebody likes it, in one way or another, then it was worth it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
that's really good. That's really good. And I feel like not all types of content or platforms are made equal with that. Like, because you talked about a video that you made a year ago and it still gets views and you still get comments for people that are thanking you or whatever. And it's like, I feel like, not to get into a whole different topic, but I feel like short form content doesn't do that. Because whether it could be YouTube, it could be TikTok, but I feel like people forget about it a lot faster. And I feel like videos or music on Spotify and stuff, that can like last forever. Maybe music definitely music even more than video, because you can listen to a song 100 times. A video, watch it once, maybe twice. That's it. But I feel like because we were doing it pre-TikTok with the Instagram days and everything, and then TikTok, it's like, obviously TikTok is a big part of your career. It's like one of the reasons why you are where you are right now. But at the same time, I feel like it kind of changed the whole like level of everything, because everything is like so much faster, which is fine, but the numbers are not really the like numbers. There's like, it's all based on, I don't know, it just kind of changed the whole energy of everything. And then I feel like myself personally, I watch quite a bit of short form content just because it's good on the toilet to just kind of, it's quick, but it doesn't, or rarely leaves me with like a deep change. When I watch like YouTube videos or something, I leave like I felt something, or I thought about something big or whatever. I feel like short form sometimes just kind of like, I just spent an hour watching stuff and I don't really even remember any of it. I don't know how you feel about that.
Honestly, I get pissed, bro. I get pissed when I realize I've been on TikTok or Instagram Reels or something for like an hour. I'm like, fuck. And I slam my phone down. I'm like, damn it. Like, cause you go there, like I'll be exporting something on Ableton and it's literally just, maybe it's a big project. So it's taking time. I look down at my phone. Next thing you know, it's been 30 minutes. That shit pisses me off, bro. But yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah, because I mean, sometimes you're like, well, what did I even watch? Like, if I had to mention two of the things that I watch, I wouldn't even be able to, really. Definitely.
Yeah, and that's why it's never been a reliable platform, at least for me, because there's definitely some people that blow up on TikTok and they blow up just because they're a person. Like, that's what I've always really wanted. Like, there's people, like a lot of girls that just like do makeup or they just get ready and shit, and they're getting millions of views, but now their people are actually attached to them, which is great. But like for music and different more creative fields, it's like, it's really no point of following anybody on TikTok. Like, you either see them on your For You page or you don't. And if you like their videos, they'll keep showing up on your For You page. And you never really click on their profile. You don't go to follow them on Instagram. You don't go to see if they have merch, blah, blah, blah. But with YouTube, it's like, it's way different. It's like, it's a whole different vibe, a whole different feel of like community. Even Instagram, I'd say, is still even more community-like as opposed to TikTok. Like,
definitely.
It's crazy.
I think at the end of the day, it's just kind of the time that you spend together, because it's like, that's one thing I like about, I watch a lot of streams and I listen to a lot of podcasts, and it's like, after you spend 3 hours listening to somebody talk like once a week, you just know them, it's just a different connection. You're never going to get from like 30 seconds of somebody, just doing anything really. But there's people,
And then you'll watch anything.
yeah.
Because that's how I feel about MKBHD.
Yeah.
Like, I've been watching his videos for so long. I just watched his video about his solar roof. It was a 30-minute video.
It's like, I don't care.
I watched the entire thing.
Yeah.
This dude is just doing math, calculating how much he spent on electricity with a solar-powered roof.
Yep.
I watched the whole thing, dude.
And you loved it
So
too. I'm sure.
I loved it, dude. I was glued to it. I'm like, wow, this is very impressive. Like, but yeah, it's just
That's it.
different vibes, man.
Yeah. That's really cool. I wanted to ask you, I asked the Discord, if you guys are not in the Discord, go join the Discord. I asked them to ask you some questions, and I saved 3 that I wanted to ask you. So the first one is, do you like being known as the lo-fi guy?
Yeah, I don't really care.
Okay, cool.
Oh wait, are you talking?
I am.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Your lips were just
They were just
your lips were just moving hella fast on the screen. But there was nothing coming out. But yeah, no, I think like I'm not really a label kind of person. Like, I don't care what people call me. I know a lot of people, like a lot of producers, get kind of pissed when they're called like a content creator and stuff, like, or some producers are pissed when they're called a beat maker instead of a producer. I don't care about any of that. Like, call me whatever you want, just don't call me broke. Like, you know what I'm saying? As long as I'm doing my thing and I'm making my music and making my money, bro, like, I don't care what people say.
I really love how honest you are about the whole money thing. I think that's really nice, and it's pretty refreshing. I like it.
Hey, it is what it is. Bro, people got to stop hiding from the fact that money makes the world go around, bro. It's just the truth.
It really does.
It doesn't buy happiness, but it definitely can take some chunks off of depression, I feel like.
I agree.
It takes a lot of stress.
Yeah, there's a video by Casey
away.
Neistat that he made a few years ago about like, does money make you happy? And it's like, no, it doesn't. But there's like 2 layers that he has. It's such a good video. But there's like 2 layers of things in life. And the first one, the bottom one, it's like food, shelter, health, like health as in like healthcare, like just basic things like that. And that's level 1. And then level 2 are things like happiness, goals, like aspirations, things like that. And he talks about in the video how when you don't have any money, you are so focused on level 1 that you can't even think really about level 2, because you're just so focused on like, I gotta pay rent, I gotta eat, I gotta do this and that. Like my car broke down, it's the end of the world. It's like you're just so focused on that first level that you don't get to even think about the deeper one. So you don't buy happiness, but there's a certain threshold where you kind of get to level 2, and then you are able to be more, to just have more brain time, energy, space to think about your actual goals and like what does happiness even mean for you and stuff like that. And then you can try and pursue it and still fail, but at least you had the chance to think about it. I feel like that was a really good explanation. Casey Neistat did a really good job with that video about this topic. It's really cool.
No, for sure. There's levels to it for sure.
Yeah.
There's always somebody richer. There's always somebody with a bigger yacht. But there's also somebody with a smaller yacht or no yacht at all.
No, most people.
Or, so, yeah, for
so
sure.
LJ yacht coming up. Are you going to get a yacht?
Yeah, I can't even swim, dude. I don't fuck with the ocean. Keep me away from that. You know what I'm saying,
That's
dude?
fair.
I just got my passport for the first time. I went out of the country. I don't even like planes, but I did it. I went to Costa Rica.
Nice. How was it?
And it was nice. It was beautiful, dude. Like, it was my first, and not to keep talking about money, but like my career took off during the pandemic, and I'm a paranoid guy, bro. So I still haven't caught COVID because I was staying at home, bro. Like, I was home. I wasn't going to restaurants. I wasn't doing nothing. I was even getting groceries delivered, going to Trader Joe's here and there, always masked up, hand sanitizer on deck. So yeah, it wasn't until recently where I actually got to kind of experience my money and start going out to eat or traveling or whatever. Yeah, so I went to a 5-star resort, me and my girl. I also proposed to,
right.
So she's now my
Congrats,
fiance.
dude.
So it was just straight, just beautiful, bro. It was beautiful.
That's awesome. You got to come out here to Europe now. You got to come to Europe.
I do, bro. I do. That's on the list for sure.
Nice. Let me ask you another question. I mean, this is just a classic Discord question. Your top 3 plugins right now. I know you don't make music anymore, but
look, I'm not Chris Ponce status yet, bro. I'd like to be though. He's, but
he's killing it.
My top 3 plugins, bro. I would always say Lounge Lizard number 1. Lounge Lizard will always have a special place in my heart. I start every beat with it, whether I switch the sounds or not.
Same. Wait, hold on. I didn't know this. I have it in like the Ableton, maybe like the basic template. Track 1, it's Lounge Lizard. Do you have that too? That's crazy.
I should do that.
You should.
I never utilize templates. Maybe I should do that, bro. My template, the only thing on my template is just like, I got reverb, my reverb and delay plugins on the synths, but I've never even thought of putting... I should do that. Yeah.
I have it. I open Ableton
and
it's
I'm
like,
gonna do that, bro.
I already have the Lounge Lizard loaded up. It helps.
That's fire. Yeah, I should, but I will. So that's gonna be my new life for sure. Because once I make a beat, I mean, I usually do start with drums, but immediately I'm putting Lounge Lizard.
There you go. So Lounge Lizard.
So hell yeah, Lounge Lizard number 1. Are we talking instruments and effects or just instruments? What are we talking?
Whatever tickles your fancy these days. Whatever.
Okay, so I'll say Lounge Lizard and then I'll say Kickstart. Kickstart is another one of my favorite plugins, just for the vibes. And what can the third go to? Okay, right now, Keybase. It's a free plugin. It's called Keybase, Kee bass. Love that bass. I'm using that in 90% of my beats.
Is it like electronic bass, or is it more like electric, or how does it sound like, or everything?
It's like a just perfect little synth bass for lo-fi.
Nice.
Like,
shout out Keybase.
It's just perfect.
The third question, and last one, is any advice for new artists? I know it's kind of an open question, and we maybe talked about it a little bit, but since you run a label, maybe let's talk about it specifically. We talked a lot about content. Maybe let's talk about it specifically with Spotify. Just if you want to do music.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, yeah, the first advice would be to pick your priority. I mean, for me, it's different. For you, it's different, I'm sure, too. Like, we got a lot going on once you start the content life. But yeah, like, if your goal is like to be have a lot of monthly listeners and have fans and maybe even do shows, and you want to just be a musician or whatever and release music, I would just say, I mean, it all really does still come down to content, but like, get good at making music first. And I know like it's hard to really know if you're good, because I've done countless streams on Twitch where I'm listening to people's music and they really, really believe they're good, but it's not. So, get it with the community, like, get around some like-minded people, the Discords, whatever, like Instagram comments, DM groups, whatever. Just get around some like-minded people that are similar level, maybe some higher level people that you can maybe trust to share your music. Because I will say, like, a great example, the Married Life song that changed my life, I hated it. I was working on it and I was struggling. But I always play all my music for my girl, well, my wife. Damn, that's fire. Yeah, she's pretty much my wife. Much. But
do you guys have a date? Not to interrupt you, but
yep, next month, bro. It's happening. Nice little courthouse wedding, bro. It's gonna be amazing, dude. Not expensive, but the honeymoon though.
Oh shit, you going all out?
Yeah, I'm going all out on the honeymoon, bro. But yeah, so I've always had her to show my music to. So I've always had her opinion, and also she's not a producer or nothing like that. So having that outside opinion was always helpful. So with that Married Life, I was about to give up on it, but she told me to do something, slow something down or something she told me to do. And I did it, and I was like, all right, I'll keep working on it. So my first advice, get good at music, get some people around to help you get good or to realize that you are good. And after that, content. I hate to say it.
That's it.
But release songs and make content. That's really all you can do right now. But the first step is to just make music that you genuinely enjoy, and yeah, show it to people, dude.
Keep at it.
And keep at it, of course.
I feel like
consistency is key, friends.
Yeah, and with the feedback,
it's cliche.
With the feedback, I feel like it's so, because you just said about your, I guess it was girlfriend at the time, and you can learn so much from people that are way better than you, but you can also learn so much from people that don't know much about music, but they just like to listen to it, because they're just like. Feedback is crazy, because sometimes you get the best advice from someone that doesn't even make music, but they just listen to a lot of music and they like it, and they tell you there's something weird about it. Maybe they express something, it feels too sad or something, and then all of a sudden you get an idea and you fix it.
And that's my argument whenever people say, don't use samples, this and that. Because at the end of the day, really, my girlfriend is my target audience. Like, I'm not making music for, no offense, love you guys, but I'm not making music for the people that are just watching my tutorials. Like, my music isn't for the producers. Like, sure, it's also for them if they want to be fans of it, but it's like, it's the consumer that you really are making music for, like people who are just fans. And since she don't know nothing about producing, she could care less about a sample. She could care less about a technique or the levels or the luffs. I still don't know what a luff is, bro. Like, get that shit out of my face, bro. But
get the
like,
laughs out of my face.
It is, you know, like, that's my target audience. So I value her opinion over any next level producer, honestly.
That's husband material right there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, dude. Thank you so much for doing this.
I'm taking it.
I really appreciate you. Chat, say bye to the one and only LJ. All right, dude. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you, bro.
Bye.